had a kidney transplant which did not work out, 2 home dialysis, so many things, ups and downs. And the common thing that I read in both your books and your words is about ikigai, that you both found your ikigai in a situation that could have been so debilitating. You found your ikigai. But to give you a sense of what Kamal went through, a 21-year-old, kidney disease, for most of us who are not familiar, for those who have to go through dialysis, even routine things are restricted. A normal life, and all that Kamal asked for was normality. I have to read these heartbreaking lines that you've written, Kamal. Normality. What an underrated thing. Most people don't want a normal life. They want a special life. Normal people are often considered weak. They are called losers. For dialysis patients, normality is utopia. Give me a normal life. That's all I crave. A life where I don't need to rely on a machine to live, in which I don't need to stay away from something as basic as water, where I can eat as much fruit as I want to. Are these really too much to ask for? A 21-year-old dealing with this. Tell us, Kamal, how did you come to terms with this? Please share with us.
So I think it was, like you said, a huge shock to be diagnosed with kidney failure at the age of 21 when you're just about to fly out to the US. And you have a lot of dreams for what the future holds, and then suddenly to be diagnosed with something as dramatic as kidney failure. Thankfully for me, my doctors were very understanding, and I got a very good set of doctors who did not say that all of a sudden your kidneys are have failed and you have to live like this for the rest of your life and so on. But they kind of did it gently, one more week, and then of course slowly over a period of 6 to 8 months, you understand that this is, you're in for the long haul. It's not something that's going to go away in a few weeks. So I think that was one very important thing. The other thing is, thankfully, the internet had just come around the time when I was diagnosed with kidney failure, and I was all the time researching things that I could do to get a normal life, And for me, a lot of people say that you've been very courageous and so on. Honestly, I think that's too dramatic and too big to say. But for me, it was always about getting back to a normal life. So when I was diagnosed with kidney failure and I had to do hemodialysis, I was looking, okay, how can I get out of this and get back to normalcy? And then the answer was a kidney transplant. Kidney transplant didn't work. As soon as within a few days of the kidney transplant, I was diagnosed again with kidney failure. The transplanted kidney also failed. I started reading up on the internet, what can I do to get my life back? And I found the answer to peritoneal dialysis. Then there was a tsunami that happened in 2004, where I was on the beach in Mahabalipuram, got caught in the tsunami, neck deep in water, almost died. But my PD catheter, in peritoneal dialysis, there is a small catheter that is put in your stomach. That catheter got infected and I had to give up PD and I was very upset because PD had given me my life back. I was working full time. I started traveling and so on. All aspects of a normal, healthy life. But then I had to give up that as well. And I again got onto the internet and started looking, and I found out about home hemodialysis. So, for me, it was always about getting my life and a normal, simple life back. I hate diet restrictions. I hate fluid restrictions. I am the most non-compliant patient you could ever find. But for me, it was all about getting back my life. And I decided that at every stage there were setbacks, but I think I chose not to give up, and I wanted that my normal life to get back to come back to me, and that was all that drove me. That quest for normalcy, that hunger for normalcy.
How inspiring! And this 21-year-old, he has even found out, he's even gone on a cruise. He's fulfilled that dream of his, and he has taken dialysis on a cruise. So it just shows that there's no stopping a spirit that really wants to get there. Now, Minu, asking you, your foundation, Caring Minds, has completed 10 years. But before you started Caring Minds, when you were taking your daughter and you had to run from pillar to post, trying to get her the best possible treatment available, there were some challenges that you met, which led to the idea that I mean, of course, it was your own fulfillment that you got in the process of setting up Caring Minds, but also to give back to society and to make life a little easy for them. Like Kamal said, that you feel like kindred souls. When you said that other kidney patients feel like kindred souls, you want to reach out, you want to help them. So what were the challenges, Minu, that you faced when you were looking for treatment for your daughter? And how have you overcome those in Caring Minds?
So it was a complete roller coaster ride with Prachi. Um, that time it was a huge stigma, number one, and there was no facility available in Kolkata. That's why I had to transfer the whole education from Memphis. So when I realized that Prachi's learning has stopped, I realized that I was a woman too before I became a mother, and I also had some dreams and aspirations. I started stepping out of the house, and my days got lighter and easier. And I wanted to study mental health and psychology. So I started studying psychology and counseling. And very difficult was those days to, because that time just it started, computer was just started, but those days if you Google, courses was not available easily. But I got a course and I did my course there, and I started my career from Manovikas. So, but Manovikas, I went there after 1 or 2 months. Then I realized that there is no respite for me. At home, I have a special child. When I come to work, there is again special children. So I don't think this is my calling. So I left Manovikas. After that, I did a course in CBT in London, because I trained myself a lot during Prachi's therapies and assessments. But I knew if I want to pursue a career in mental health, I need some formal degrees and certificates. So I trained myself from London in CBT, and from Philadelphia in child brain development. And after that, I became a student counselor at Xavier's and JD Birla. And I also started my chambers at Wellview. When I was sitting at Wellview, then I realized the patients which I was getting from them, some of them I was referring to other specialists, like for special education, for speech therapists. Very soon I realized there is no single facility in Kolkata where all facilities of mental health is under one roof. And that gave the birth of Caring Minds in my mind. At the same time, I also had a vacant property in Baliganj Circular Road. So I thought, why not use this property? And of course, I will use not much of fund. I will make a very small OPD clinic where consultants of every type consultants of mental health will come and go. And I started making this in, if you know Mama Mia, so it's closer to Mama Mia. We had a property there, and I started Caring Minds working from there. Making from there, but you want to know this?
No, that's wonderful. I just wanted to ask how you have added value by starting Caring Minds. So you said all facilities under one roof.
Yeah.
So at least the family already is going through the trauma. You spared the further trauma of running from one destination to another for one service and the other. So you brought them all under one roof,
yes.
And the best services possible.
Because when during Prachi's time, I used to go and in the nooks and corner, used to wait in the stairs in the dark. Means there was no proper mental health facility in Kolkata.
I think mental health was not recognized really till a few years ago. It had no proper recognition. So tell me also that, like you said, log kya kahenge? Do you think that mindset has also now changed over the last few years?
I'm very proud to say from the very beginning, I don't know, मेरे दिमाग में था ही नहीं कि प्राची को कहीं नहीं. From the very first day, me and my family, we took Prachi everywhere. We exposed her to the nearest normal possible. So I took, rather I would make my plans according to Prachi's, my shopping plan, my any plan according to Prachi. So मेरे लिए कुछ मतलब नहीं था कि लोग क्या कहेंगे. But yes, it was there, log kya kahenge, and down the, I would say in 10 years, we have come a long way. Now, if mental health has become a fashionable word, people like to use it, flaunt it, and thanks a lot for that.
We are grateful that it is getting the recognition it needs. People are recognizing it. Just as there are physical health issues, there can be mental health issues. And not to just put it, just to kind of sweep it under the carpet and to hide it. So thank you. So Kamal, you've had a most extraordinary story with Nephro Plus. And you've established yourself as the largest dialysis provider in India. And you have written this outstanding story where you went on to acquire Davita India. And Davita is the second largest dialysis provider in the world. And to acquire the Indian arm of Davita created waves. So tell us what would you attribute to the success of NephroPlus? What have you done differently? Because there are dialysis centers in every nook and corner of the country. So what have you done differently to come by this?
So I started writing a blog sometime in 2007 actually, where I recounted my journey, and what could dialysis patients do to get their life back? What could they do to lead a completely normal life? Because there is a misconception in the general public's mind that once somebody gets onto dialysis, pretty much the end of life, you can't lead a normal life, but nothing can be farther from the truth. I was living testament of that, and what I realized is there are a few things that patients can do, providers can do, doctors can do, all together can give a dialysis patient their life back. So I started writing on the blog about how patients could take the responsibility of care in their own hands and get their life back. How could they work, travel, play a game, have fun, go for a movie, all things that normal people do, I wanted dialysis patients to do, and that was how the idea for the blog came up. And that blog became fairly popular, and Vikram Vuppala, who's my partner today, he stumbled upon my blog actually while researching ideas to start a healthcare company in India. And he stumbled upon my blog, sent me an email, and then we started brainstorming on how we could improve the dialysis offering in India. And that was how the whole thing started, where we set up a proof of concept center. Few things which we did that I believe were very closely linked to the success of NephroPlus is, for us, we believed that we in fact call our patients guests and not patients, because we believe there is a negative connotation to the word patient. When somebody hears the word patient, the image that comes to your mind is probably one of a sick, bedridden, individual who cannot do things for themselves. But here I'm on dialysis for the last 26 years, but I lead a completely normal life. I came alone to Kolkata. I work full time. I swim every morning. I travel. I go for a movie. I do things that all of you do. So we believe that we should not call our patients patients, but we call them guests, and everybody at NephroPlus has to do that. So that's where the whole differentiation started, where when a dialysis patient walks into a dialysis center, they are treated as patients, not healthy, cannot lead a normal life. But when they walk into a NephroPlus center, what we attempt to do is, by this, first of all, the first thing that we use is terminology, and we change the terminology. Then we do a lot of other things, because quality of dialysis is something that's very, very important in getting their life back. So we have a protocolized dialysis system where every center follows protocols which we institute, and there are audits and so on. And with that itself, the first step is taken by which dialysis patients can get their life back. Other than that, we do a lot of things, like we have an event called Ashaएं, where we educate patients on how they can lead a normal life, where doctors, fellow patients, dietitians and all speak, and we have a lot of fun activities that day. And then most importantly, we hold a dialysis Olympiad, which is an Olympic-style games event for dialysis patients, because playing a sport is such a normal part of a healthy life. So we believe that dialysis patients should exercise, should play a sport, should do physical activity. And to encourage that and to pass the message that dialysis patients can do that, we have every 2 years a dialysis Olympics games event, where we hold sporting competitions in events such as marathon, cycling, basketball, table tennis, and so on, badminton, and so on. At the end of the day, we give the top three gold, silver, and bronze medals. So all this ties into the overall vision that dialysis patients can get their life back and they can lead a normal life. We have holiday dialysis. When somebody gets onto dialysis, they believe they cannot travel. But we believe that dialysis patients can and should travel. So we have an elaborate program where all dialysis patients can get out of their house, go for a week-long holiday to a destination of their choice, wherever there's NephroPlus center. Like we have in most of the tourist destinations, like Goa, Dehradun, and all the metros. They can take a nice holiday and, get a break from their routine life.
That is so brilliant. So brilliant. Like he said, all we look for is normality. And you've given that normality. That is so exceptional. So also you mentioned about your blog, Kamal, and you've written that you've always had a love for the written word. And you've also thanked your English teacher. And so tell me, how fulfilling was it for you to have your blog? And how different is it now to have your book, to hold your book in your hand? How fulfilling is it?
Yeah, so the thing started with the blog, the writing bug, as you say, that sometime in 2007, I started writing about, the whole journey, and I started writing about other topics as well to make it fun and interesting. And the blog became popular. The blog was something that, I did almost like a hobby or something that I would do for fun. But as the blog kept becoming more and more popular, a lot of my family, friends, and fellow patients. So one interesting thing about the blog is once it became popular, I started getting emails from people I didn't know. They were dialysis patients who, again, stumbled upon my blog, and they found answers to questions they were asking, the questions they had. And they would send me an email and start asking me questions further to that post that they read and so on. So, and then I developed long-term friendship with many of those people. We had no idea where they were, who they were, and so on. It was just that relationship that developed because of the blog through emails. So I think a lot of family and friends and patients said that you should write up about your journey in a book so that, it is more accessible and it's in a structured format. People would love to know your entire story. So then the pandemic happened, and that's when I found time. So I saved a lot of time. Commute to the office was saved, and I had more time to myself. So I started writing, the whole journey right from the beginning of my diagnosis to where we are at NephroPlus. And I think the beauty about the book is it is very structured. In the blog, it is like just a huge bunch of posts, couple of thousand posts, and it's probably difficult to find things that you're interested in. The beauty of a book is it's much more structured, it's chronological, so you have chapters and then you can pick up whatever, you get the whole picture in one stretch. So I think the book has been a huge blessing, and it's really changed my life, the book. I didn't expect that it would have such an impact, because I get emails from people who've read my book, and patients who read my book, their families who read my book, and they suddenly send me an email, and they ask me to help them plan their future. Like they say, should I get a transplant? Should I switch to peritoneal dialysis? How do I go on a holiday? How I want to go on a cruise? How do I do that? Help me. So that has been a huge, satisfying thing, because I really see the impact that the book has had on so many patients. Again, people I've never met, people I don't know, but it feels really heartwarming.
That is so wonderful. Kamal, we read about that experience of yours that you've written, where you are trying to take a holiday. Each time you're trying to overcome something, that dinner you went to, and then how that led to a setback. You tried to go on that holiday and that tsunami. Can you share very briefly that tsunami experience for everyone to know?
So I had switched to peritoneal dialysis after my transplant had failed, and peritoneal dialysis really gave me my life back, because I could fit in within my schedule. I didn't have to skip work. I would go to work and manage all my normal life activities along with peritoneal dialysis very beautifully. So like I said, I love to travel, and I went off on a holiday, Christmas break of 2004, went off on a holiday with some friends to Mahabalipuram, South Indian beach town, about a couple of hours drive from Chennai. We reached on Christmas Day night, and the next morning, I had just finished my peritoneal dialysis activity, and that half an hour thing that I have to do, got done with that, and we were getting ready, ready to head out to the shore temple of Mahabalipuram, which we had read about in history in school. We were very, very excited. I was watching TV, and then suddenly the water came in from under the door, and I was wondering, like, we were in a cottage right on the beach, but I was wondering how can water come in? I mean, they would have taken care of it. So for a few minutes, I didn't know what was happening. But then before I could even understand what was happening, I was neck deep in water. And I was shocked because I didn't know what to do. I was alone. I was in a room and I could see the refrigerator and the television bobbing up and down in the water. And I was like so scared. But then my roommate who was there with me, he opened the door and we saw we were fully surrounded by water. We had no idea what was happening. While we had heard something about tsunami, we had no idea that this is how it is. And somehow my friend, he opened the door and we slowly made our way out of the room. And like it was just, but the thing with the tsunami is there is a huge gush of water and then the water pulls back. So one of those pullbacks, we just managed to get out, and then we swam to higher ground where the water was not neck deep; it was just knee deep or ankle deep, and then we saved. We kind of got saved because a lot of people who were on the beach that day in that same resort were washed away and died. So we had a miraculous escape where we were in the room when the actual water hit. But thankfully, we could get out of that whole thing alive. The unfortunate part, though, was the peritoneal dialysis catheter that I had in my stomach that got infected because of this dirty water, and that over the next few months I had to give up PD because of that. So the tsunami, while we were lucky that we made it out alive, I think this was the downside of the tsunami where the catheter got infected.
So one of the largest natural disasters in the world, and he compared it to the storm in his life. So, but his indomitable spirit, he just went on and on. So it's been like that. Now, I wanted to ask you, when situations like this happen, your worldview changes. Things that were important to you, they just drop away. Things that are unnecessary. And you see the world differently, and I'm sure for both of that. So tell me, Minu, you have also said death of a caterpillar. Now, the death of a caterpillar led to the birth of the butterfly. So what were the challenges that the caterpillar had to face to come out of the cocoon, and how different is the caterpillar of yesterday from the butterfly of today?
I think a lot different. Even when I was setting up of Caring Mind, I would say there was a huge stigma. And when one day when I was doing the interiors, the neighborhood they came with a stay order. They didn't want us to open the clinic there because कि रोज यहाँ पागल लोग इलाज कराने आएंगे. तो ठीक है, it all stopped, सब चीज़ बंद हो गया, सब चीज़. But and for me, I started all alone because that time mental health का M भी किसी को नहीं मालूम था. I mean, neither in the family nor anywhere. So I started all alone, and all the preparation were done actually. So what to do? Then Caring Mind came to my house. So I started Caring Mind from my house, first floor, one room. I set up one table and 10 chairs, and I started Caring Mind. Because I hired the staff, I had everything. What to do now? Where to go? So, and I didn't, I didn't discuss at home also. So next day when girls were, they were going upstairs, so Sanjay is asking कि ये लोग कौन ऊपर क्यों जा रहे हैं? तो मैंने कहा कि Caring Mind शुरू हो गया. So he was happy कि ठीक है चलो कोई बात नहीं शुरू हो गया. Very soon we will acquire a new property. So then we shifted to the new property. So coming to your question that how different. So after even setting up of Caring Minds, I used to go to social parties, events. I never felt normal, regular. मेरे को हर समय लगता था सबको इतना enjoy कैसे कर लेते हैं, at the drop of a hat हंस लेते हैं. पता नहीं, I never felt normal self. सब कुछ भी मेरे को कहीं एक तो जाना ही अच्छा नहीं लगता था. मेरे को लगता था I am carrying my body to go anywhere. And after that, लोगों को एक छोटा सा बात पे भी हंसी आ जाता था. For me, laughing was a big thing. Means I don't know, after opening all these things also, I was not healed from inside actually. I don't know why. I think I went too deep inside with my daughter, so I was taking time to come out. बहुत टाइम लगा तो how I came out, actually, I would say when I'm writing my second book right now. So how I came out, I would say when I was working at Caring Minds, I Can Fly International. So the more I was working at these places with like-minded people, the more I healed people. The more जितना मैं heal करती हूँ ना, उतना ही I get healed from inside. If any good review in the evening I hear, एक अच्छा रिव्यू, एक अच्छा कोई बोल देता रिमार्क, दैट मेक्स माय डे. बस कुछ नहीं चाहिए मेरे को. जितना मतलब मेरे को लग गया और उसके बाद 4-5 साल नॉर्मल सेल्फ आने में. मीन्स राइट नाउ यस, आई एम फाइनली हैप्पी टू मीट रियल मीनू. दिस इज फाइनली मी.
They say that when you help someone climb a mountain, you're getting closer to the top yourself. I think, Minu, that has happened with you. You're helping people climb and you have also
Yeah, the
elevated
more
yourself.
right now also, God doesn't let me rest. He wants me to non-stop doing something or other. The more I heal myself from inside, and the more I get connected to life. This is my life.
That is so wonderful, so heartening. The more we give, the more we get.
Yes.
Right. And Kamal, you have given such an inspiring message where you say that I mean, this attitude of gratitude that I see, that instead of blaming the disease, saying, "Mere saath kyun?" How all of us tend to think, "Why has God been unkind to me? मैंने क्या बुरा किया? I've been a good person." You've not done all of that, and you've actually thanked the disease. You say that it has, to quote directly, they say, "When I see healthy people messing up their lives, I feel thankful that I live a more mindful life. I'm grateful for the awakening my kidney disease has caused." And that is at the physical level and at the mental level, at the spiritual level. At the physical level, you say you're swimming every day. And at the, where you say that, unnecessary things have dropped. So please elaborate on how it has changed your worldview.
So I think with when you get a life-changing diagnosis like kidney failure, it puts a lot of things in perspective. Especially when you have these setbacks and then you realize that there was a thin line between dying and continuing to live. It was a very thin line. It could have gone either way, and you feel extremely grateful, extremely thankful that you've survived and you're leading a pretty good life. So I can't complain because I have a beautiful life. I work full time, and I see a lot of healthy people who have no health condition, but despite that, when they overindulge in stimulants and they take their health for granted, at 21, who would have expected somebody like me to get into a diagnosis or get into a situation of kidney failure where I would have to deal with it for the rest of my life. Even a transplant did not work. So the point I'm trying to make is that even healthy people need to be aware that the health is completely in their hands, in all of your hands. Your health is completely in your hands. A diagnosis like this can happen to anybody. I had a completely normal life. I swam 1 kilometer the day before my kidney failure happened. 1 kilometer. So life can turn in an instant. Please don't take your health for granted. And there's no rocket science here, right? All of us know that exercise, eating healthy, not drinking excessively, not smoking, these are all basics that any article you pick up, any doctor you speak, they will tell you these 4 or 5 things. Drink a lot of water, exercise, eat healthy, don't eat too much of fried food. There's no rocket science, no more research that is needed. Everybody knows the facts. So despite knowing the facts, if we walk towards a pit where anything can happen, I think it's just foolishness. That perspective I have got, where I realize what is good for me, what is not good for me, and I make sure that after all these challenges, I don't want to intentionally do something that will harm my health even further. So I strongly encourage people who have healthy kidneys and rest of their body healthy, don't take your health for granted. It can turn in an instant.
And also spiritually, that attitude of gratitude.
Absolutely. So I write a journal. I do a 10-minute meditation session every morning, and I write a journal where the first thing that I do is I write a couple of lines about what I am grateful for in my life. And it could be anything. It could be health related. It could be family related. It could be anything. And all of us, I think there are some startling statistics on how many people have access to clean drinking water. When you just look at those statistics, it will stir your soul, because we are very fortunate that we have clean drinking water, we have a good home, we have good, healthy food to eat. So being thankful for these things gives you a very nice perspective on how life can actually be. When you realize that how lucky you are to have these basic things, that gratitude for these basic things that we take so much for granted. Who is grateful for getting access to clean drinking water? Very few of us. So when you think about the number of people that don't even have access to clean drinking water or hot home cooked food every day, I think we all have to be very, very grateful for that. And that helps in a lot of many ways, because when you are faced with adversity, that gratitude comes in. It's a stock that you have that makes you feel much less bitter about adversity and much less complaining when you get any kind of adversity thrown at you. So gratitude is a very, very powerful emotion. It is nothing religious. It is a very secular aspect that all of us can cultivate. Just every morning, just take 2 minutes to think and thank for something that you have in your life, which you are really grateful for.
That is so, so meaningful. What a wonderful message to carry home. Are there any questions from the audience? Any questions? Yes, please. One question there. Yes, please. Someone at the back, the lady at the back wanted, yeah.
Hello, I'm Sunandita. I suffer from early onset Parkinson's disease. So the situation happens like that someday I'm fine, like today I'm better, I want to be here. Someday at office I'm so sick that I have to take an off or something. Now people don't understand this. I mean, there is a lot of infantilization. I mean, as if I don't understand what I should do with my life. I mean, इधर क्यों जा रहे हो, घर में बैठना चाहिए. So how to deal with this, basically, I wanted to ask. I hope I can make myself clear.
The question is to whom, ma'am?
To any one of you.
Okay.
Okay, so you answer, Kamal.
I would take
Oh,
up.
yeah, okay.
Parkinson is more of a mental health thing. So whatever you have, if you have heard my story, see, whatever you have, adversity comes to everyone, right? So Parkinson or Alzheimer's or anything. So nobody has the right to tell you to sit at home, or neither you have to sit at home. You can carry your work with whatever means you have, with taking proper care of yourself. And Parkinson is manageable with proper medicine, proper care. You can, because I would say, if you say blood pressure, diabetes, are they curable? They are not. Same way, Parkinson is not curable, but it is manageable. You can manage it very well if you do it from the very beginning. And just like blood pressure patient, diabetic patient, they can go anywhere. You also can go anywhere with proper help and with proper taking care. Thank you.
I'd just like to add 2 points, if you permit.
Yes,
So I think what ma'am said is very, very useful. Apart from that, 2 things I would like to recommend, ma'am, is that one is read up as much as you can about your disease. Read up as much as you can about your condition. And second thing is network or talk to patients, other patients with the same condition, because there is nothing in this world that nobody else has experienced, irrespective of the condition. So if you speak to other patients, you'll get a much better and a deeper perspective on what they did to overcome your kind of situation, because only the wearer knows where the shoe pinches, right? The very cliched statement, but that's very true. So please talk to other patients, and I'm sure you'll get your answers from them.
And kudos to you for coming here today. And kudos to your spirit for being here today. And with that, we come to the close of this session. And one more question. Okay, so we'll take one last question. Yes, please.
My name's Nidhi Somani, and thank you so much for the wonderful insight. I think, being in talks like this makes us grateful for everything we have. There's something that I feel which is not talked about often is caring for the caregiver. Because, when somebody is sick mentally or physically, everybody around them is going through a lot as well, which often is still stigmatized. Like if you have a sick child at home and you are out there in a social gathering just to take that break, it's often looked down upon, or like, you're not caring enough, you're not responsible enough, you're not all of those things. And I see that in a part of you when you said that I am a woman also and I couldn't like stop my life completely. But how do you sort of normalize this, and how do you even to explain to the caregiver himself that you need to take care of yourself before you take care of whoever the next to kin is?
Can you pour from an empty cup? No. So first you have to love yourself. First you have to take care of yourself. If you can't take care of anyone. Let people say, लोग क्या कहेंगे? My first line is this. लोग नहीं आएंगे आप जिसका भी केयर कर रहे हैं उसका केयर करने लोग नहीं आएंगे. If you are not fresh, अभी कई बार मेरे को भी बहुत स्ट्रेस होता है केयरिंग माइंड में. क्यों मैं जब जाती हूँ आई फॉरगेट एवरीथिंग. Believe me, I forget everything in the world. So many times I go just for that because I forget everything. That is a therapy for me, actually. So for caregiver, going out and getting fresh is a therapy, is a medicine. ये कोई आपके लिए वो नहीं है, कोई break नहीं है. It's a therapy for you. You must do. Let people say, let people comment. किसी को तो शुरुआत करना होगा ना. आप करिए और लोगों को educate करिए, please.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we see that vicissitudes in life can either make us or break us. And today's conversation has shown us what the human spirit is capable of. So thank you, Kamal, and thank you, Minu. It has been a privilege speaking to both of you. And the carry-home messages that you've given us, they're just so heartwarming, so inspiring. And we wish you continued satisfaction in what you are doing. And may the satisfaction continue to propel you on this path. Thank you and all the very best.
My
Thank you
last
so much.
message, thanks to Almighty God, because I end all the talks like this. Thanks to Almighty God and heartfelt gratitude, my universe, which consists of my family, my in-laws, my husband, my daughters, everybody.
I like how it has come full circle. At the beginning of the talk, she mentioned, एक जन ने खाली समझा, and that was God. जिसको नहीं पसंद था, and now she's thanking God. So life has come full
Because
circle to
after
Minu.
all,
Yes.
God has
Yes.
shown me the ikigai. Na?
Absolutely, absolutely. So may we all find our ikigai, and thank you very much for being with us here today.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Shruti.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kamal,